In recent years, the UFC has been blowing up in the UK with a surge in popularity and talent. Whether it's a pay-per-view card or a fight night, British fans will consistently go crazy for their fighters, creating an electric atmosphere that rivals any in the world.
It's never been a better time to be a British fan.
2 champs now out of England. We're going to England.
And on July 27th, the UFC returns to Manchester for another wild night, or morning, of fights, headlined by 2 of the only 3 UFC champs in the history of British MMA. In the main event, welterweight champion Leon Edwards defends his title in a rematch against Belal Muhammad, the rightful contender to the throne whether some like it or not.
There's not going to be no breathing at all for Leon Edwards. I'm going to be in his face. I'm going to make him bleed. I'm going to bully him.
When has Belal ever did that to nobody? Let him make his little memes and his little tweets. There's levels to the game, and I truly believe that I am levels above him, and come July, I'll show that.
As for the co-main event, Tom Aspinall will defend his interim heavyweight championship. Yeah, you heard that correctly. In another rematch against Curtis Blaydes, who is well deserving of his first shot at gold.
I know he's going to do his best to knock me out. I'm doing my best to knock him out.
Curtis Blaydes is a tough fight. As a champion, you have to be prepared to take on all comers. Whatever happens, I was in there defending a heavyweight title in my hometown. There's probably not a lot of people, mate, who can say that in the world.
And also featured on the card is the return of Paddy Pimblett, who takes on perhaps his toughest test yet, Bobby Green.
Paddy, July, I'll come to your backyard with your people and kick your ass.
It's just a proper wanker lad. He's just going to try and use his takedown defense, keep it on the feet, because he thinks he'll outstrike me. Strike with me, and we'll see what happens.
This card is stacked with talent from top to bottom. But let's take an inside look into the 3 most anticipated fights that will top off UFC 304.
All this anger, all this, it just built it up. Hearing him talk, it's all building up to a time when I get my hands up.
Obviously, he did what he did, and fair play to him, you know. But I feel like all the guys that's beat is not me, and that's the difference, you know.
Paddy Pimblett versus Bobby Green. Even though Paddy Pimblett is still undefeated in the UFC, it feels like his meteoric rise has significantly slowed recently. And without a doubt, it started from that controversial decision win over Jared Gordon, which showed where his level was really at after bulldozing his first few opponents.
You said you didn't even think it was close. A lot of people saw it as a very close fight, could have gone either way. Some people saying that it was Jared's fight. What do you say to that, and what did you see? You're the one in the moment.
Anyone that thinks he won that fight doesn't know what they're watching.
I thought Jared won.
Then, naturally, he was the bad guy against Tony Ferguson, as we've all been praying for a win for years now.
I don't even care about you, dude. I don't even...
I know you don't. I don't care about you. You're just another obstacle in the way, lad.
Go make me a cup of tea.
This was Paddy's worst performance, and he won all 3 rounds against a former champion.
And now, Pimblett has an opportunity to break into the top 15 against the seasoned veteran, Bobby King Green.
His resume takes him way, way, way back. How high in the division can he really go? It's up to him. I don't know. But dude, he's been fighting tough guys, right? He has the losses that kind of stand out to your mind. Barboza, Poirier.
At 37 years old, Bobby Green has seen it all in the octagon and is coming off one of the most one-sided beatdowns in recent memory at UFC 300 against Jim Miller.
You obviously called out Paddy Pimblett for this rumored Manchester card in July.
Everybody's like, well, why'd you call Bobby? Because he called me. He shouldn't have said my name. He should have kept it to those other guys. This guy right here will find you. And when I line it up and I get the sights right, you're going to pay dearly.
You're saying that I mentioned him first, like he's just lying. Why would I mention you? Why would I mention Bobby Green, lad? He's got good hands, but his chin's gone after what happened with Jalen Turner.
That fucking lame. That amateur.
You're straight out the fight with
talking. He's an amateur, bro. He's over here shit talking, and he ain't earned no respect.
There's some heat on this matchup, which obviously makes it more interesting. But in terms of the fight itself, Bobby should have the advantage on the feet, while Paddy has it on the ground. Although, both can hang in either department.
Bobby's gonna kind of walk him down and not punk him, but like he's got good defense. I don't know, Paddy is skilled, but
Paddy's going to have to look to take this one down. I'm not saying he can't do it with the hands, but on paper, Bobby is faster, okay? But this is a mixed martial arts contest with the threat of the takedown and all the rest of it. It opens up the striking, but it's certainly a step up. It's a real fight for Paddy Pimblett.
It'll be interesting to see how experience, age, and the UK crowd play into this one. But no matter what, we're guaranteed high-pace action. Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blaydes. We're at a pretty weird position in the heavyweight division currently. As weird as it sounds, it's almost like we have two undisputed champions. We're all eager to see Tom Aspinall fight John Jones, but for some reason, the UFC is still focused on Jones versus Stipe Miocic, which undermines the significance of having an interim title in the first place.
I'm putting it on the line. Yeah. And quite frankly, he isn't.
Nevertheless, this is a great matchup against Curtis Blaydes. Their first fight over 2 years ago ended in 15 seconds due to injury, so there's not a whole lot that can be taken from it. But after a year on the sidelines, Tom's hunger was reignited, resulting in 2 more first-round knockouts, including his last over Sergey Pavlovich, one of the scariest contenders he could have possibly faced to earn the interim title.
Tom Aspinall was supposed to be man number 7 to get put down and to sleep against his will inside of 5 minutes.
You know, as I said in the press conference, you're definitely not going to win this by watching it on TV. You got to be in there, and I took the chance. I was in there, I landed the shot, and I'm the champion of the world.
At UFC 304, Aspinall has an opportunity to correct the only blemish on his UFC record so far. Curtis Blaydes has been in the UFC now for 8 years and has beat a plethora of top heavyweights. A guy who began his career primarily as a wrestler, but has now been showing huge developments in his striking. And it's about time he gets an opportunity at UFC Gold.
If Curtis Blaydes doesn't deserve this title fight based on what he has done right now, it's for the career that he has put in, because he has toyed with the idea many, many times. He's been at the doorstep of a championship opportunity many times. He has not been able to cash it in.
If it wasn't going to be John Jones, Curtis Blaydes being the next opponent is perfect. It's the one we all want to see. Curtis Blaydes is continuing his career and only getting better, and he's looking to become the world champion.
The UFC initially offered Cyril Gane the shot against Aspinall, but I think Blaydes was definitely the rightful choice. These two guys are both very well-rounded. Blaydes is a better wrestler, and Aspinall has the better boxing and overall movement, although Blaydes looked solid in the few exchanges they had in their first fight. Tom has more momentum going right now, and his confidence, power, and speed seem to be at an all-time high. But the offensive wrestling, timing, and improved striking of Blaydes should make for an interesting and competitive fight.
Blaydes does have power in his hands, and he can catch you coming in and put you away. And that's where Tom Aspinall's going to be in danger. He needs to fix the problem of leaving his chin up in the air while he throws a 1-2.
I'm expecting a massive challenge. Blaydes is a really good opponent. I would love to knock him out, and I think right now, me now compared to me when we fought 2 years ago, even though that it wasn't really a fight 2 years ago, I think I'm way different mentally and physically.
People will look at this and say, listen, we've just seen Tom do what he's done to Pavlovich. It's a different challenge because of the multifaceted approach that Blaydes can actually use against him.
Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad. As stacked as the UFC welterweight division currently is, it feels like the top 10 has been moving at an unusually slow pace for some weird reason. Leon Edwards isn't the most active champion, but if you break it down, it's not entirely his fault. Leon, after shocking the world at UFC 278 with his last-minute head kick knockout to dethrone the absolute monster that Kamaru Usman was, the UFC wanted to capitalize on a massive pay-per-view homecoming for their new English champ. And after solidifying himself as the rightful king on home soil, Belal Muhammad seemed like the guy who made the most sense strictly on accomplishment, as he was riding a 9-fight unbeaten streak and had unfinished business with the champ. But the UFC, in many ways, chose chaos next to spice things up, and business-wise, it was hard to blame them.
I know you don't know how to do it math, but when you poke that guy in the eyes and it was a no contest, that interrupts your win streak, you dumb.
Although the fight definitely didn't live up to the hype. It was a pretty lackluster 5 rounds, but Leon did what he needed to retain his title.
The UFC knows that who's next. I I need to get in there. I need to make the welterweight division great again.
You know, Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad is not getting the respect that it deserves for whatever fucking stupid reason. People don't like Belal Muhammad. I don't get it at all.
Throughout his entire UFC career, Belal Muhammad has been a silent killer. Much of his run hasn't received the appreciation it deserves, but at some point, it's just too hard to deny him, even if his style doesn't sell too well.
Belal Muhammad is just one of those guys. He's unrelenting. He comes forward. He's got that crazy pressure, excellent wrestling. The striking's getting better all the time. And the man is riding a 10-fight win streak over some tremendous opponents.
3 years ago, these two met face to face, back when Leon was just hoping to fight anyone after a hot streak of bad luck. But this one just added to the frustrating series of events. Leon was the aggressor early on and even had Belal hurt. But then came the eye poke, a no contest, another setback for Leon, and a breakthrough moment ruined for Belal. Fast forward to today, they've made their way to the top, and their paths have led them right back to each other.
Watch what I do to Leon. Watch what I go out there and do in front of his people, in front of his hometown, in front of all of those fans out there that are going to be booing. I'm going to go to enemy territory, and I'm going to freaking smash him. Then I'm going to look at his coach, I'm going to look at his brother, and I'm going to smile.
I need to finish, and I feel like all the shit this guy talk on social media, Arrow, the fucking tweets, the t-shirts he made, the memes he made. You know, I feel like he's going to get his ass whooped in. I've never lost a fight in the UK. I've never lost on the home turf. He can improve all he wants. He's too easy to hit, and he's going to get hit.
Belal is much more equipped to fight Leon Edwards today than he was in 2021. His stand-up has come a long way, and he's also been training with Khabib. But Leon's a sniper on the feet and has made drastic improvements in his wrestling defense. Belal will look to take him down and wear him out, but he's been used to that unrelenting wrestler style lately. Hopefully, they come out aggressive to keep the English fans awake. But in all seriousness, this is actually an interesting stylistic matchup. It's a fight we've got to get out of the way. And there's no better time than at UFC 304 in front of a packed-out arena in Manchester to top a stacked card.